Thank you for joining us as we honor the legacy of a truly remarkable man, former President Jimmy Carter, who has died at the age of 100. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton.
We know the funeral will be Thursday of next week, January 9th. Jimmy Carter was originally a peanut farmer from Plains, Georgia, and worked to restore morality and truth to politics after an era of scandal in the White House. And he truly redefined the meaning of post-presidential service.
The 39th U.S. president, who served from 1977 to 1981, died yesterday. He was surrounded by his family. Since then, the rest of the nation has joined in on their mourning and entered into a period of reflection on Carter's lasting legacy. The official state funeral is set to be held, as David said, January 9th in Washington. The President Biden has also declared that day a national day of mourning.
What a career, what a life. From naval officer, he was on a submarine. He was a farmer, governor of Georgia, president of the United States, later a worldwide peacemaker and builder of homes for the poor. Jimmy Carter's life of inspiration spanned a little more than a century. In 1975, and this was before he became a national household name, he made a very strong impression on Rodney Strong, then a local law student.
He seemed to be sincere and honest. And so from that speech, I decided I would support him in the election in '76.
Now, Rodney Strong says that Carter's one-term presidency certainly faced a lot of challenges, including inflation, high gas prices, and a hostage crisis in Iran. But he also noted it included a key diplomatic win, the peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. 40 years later, it's held firm, even as tensions in the Middle East have reached an all-time high. And that somewhat encapsulates the legacy Jimmy Carter leaves us with, a hard-working, driven peacemaker, always looking out for his neighbors around the world. One of our former news directors here actually spent several months with Jimmy Carter while he was on the campaign trail in 1976.
Dallas Payton joins us live in the studio with Bill Wallace's time with Carter. Dallas.
Cindy, David, now Bill Wallace tells me he spent 11 months with Carter on a plane. He got the opportunity to join other journalists who were documenting his presidential campaign. From January of 1976 up until election night in November, former Local 3 News Director Bill Wallace got the opportunity of a lifetime. That opportunity was to travel with Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter at the time while he was campaigning for his first term. Wallace was the executive producer at WAGA-TV in Atlanta.
I was like number 2 guy in the newsroom at the time, and one of the other producers would alternate with me. But so it was just kind of news director picked the two of us, and like say we were in a week, out a week.
During Wallace's journey, he got to work alongside journalists like John Chancellor, Hunter Thompson, Sam Donaldson, and many more household names. Campaigning often meant making 4 to 6 stops a day. Wallace says it was a great experience.
Write your stories of what you just covered between the next stop, and at the end of the day, you just compile a story for that night. And it was on. We were still shooting film then, so you had to get airline schedules and shipping film back and cutting voice tracks.
Wallace recounts trying to get an interview with Rosalynn Carter on countless occasions. While in Detroit, Michigan, he got that call that he was waiting on. Rosalynn's assistant called saying she was on the way to the hotel to do an interview.
And we got her seated and started the interview, and the Secret Service agent who showed up, he said, "He's on his way." And I said, "Who's on his way?" He said, "Governor Carter." I said, "Well, he can't come in right now." And he said, "Well, you go tell him."
Wallace says Governor Carter was understanding of the matter and didn't mind waiting, but was happy when he was able to see his future First Lady. Politics aside, Wallace says he will always remember Carter as a good guy.
When he was governor, my wife and I, we would attend functions at the governor's mansion in Atlanta, and so we got to, sort of a friendship. But it's tough with a guy who lived to be 100 years old. I mean, how many people can say that?
Now, Carter's funeral will be held on January 9th in Washington. Cindy?